You guys did so great in the long weekend. I really, really enjoyed it, and especially your chemistry. Can you both talk about building that chemistry and making Bart and Vienna really pop?
Hmm. Thank you.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, I think a lot of credit goes to Steve and the script and his ability to trust us. I think he spent a lot of time finding who his Bart and Vienna were going to be. And by the time we both stepped into these roles, there had been a lot of work already put into the process. And yeah. And then, like any project you go into, you just hope like the person you act with isn't crazy and like is a nice person.
Yeah, sad for you.
And it turned out he's crazy.
None of those things were true.
No, but like I knew Finn has like a lovely, accurate or reputation in the business as being like such a good actor and a really lovely person. And thank God that ended up being the case. And it was fun. We had a really fun time. And the movie is about getting to know each other. And that's what we did.
Yeah, we didn't have we didn't have the benefit of time, as it were, to, workshop this thing or do a whole lot of rehearsal. We were kind of thrown in and sort of had to figure it out between each other. And because I had someone that was so in the moment and so alive, it was not a chore. It was really fun.
I'm glad to hear that.
We're so reluctant to say nice things about each other.
That's about that's all you're going to get from it. Just kidding.
But you seem very happy to say nice things about Steve. So what was the collaboration process like with him, especially because it's such a personal story for him and he was directing for the first time?
Yeah. And what Zoe said is so true. Like Steve did give us the room to not be too precious. And I said this, but like for a first time writer director, often I think get really locked into the way that they want it to be. And he was really, really open with us to try stuff, to change it, to improvise it, and to kind of figure out what the spark was between each other, and figure out how to capture that. So yeah, it was it was a labor of love for sure, but we had a genuinely good time, I think. I mean, I did. So
hopefully
speaking for everybody.
I'm traumatized. No, trauma is not funny, but no, I agree. I second all those things. Steve's the best.
Wonderful. Zoe, Vienna is very mysterious, right? And she only shares a little bit of her story with Bart. But for you, how much were you aware of her actual backstory? How much did you discuss, what she's done the day before or what she's done,
Yeah, well, that's kind of the job, right? As an actor, like even if it's not fleshed out on the page, at a certain point you make a choice about who this person is and where they're coming from and why and how. And we would talk a lot to Steve about the script because there's a lot that is left for interpretation. But you also still want to make sure like we're on the same page, right?
Right.
And in control of what we're putting out there, and in control of the ambiguity, I think is important. But yeah, I mean, she's a really fun person to work on and to play. And
I think if there was a lesser actress taking this part, it could have been something very insubstantial, something very just a kind of a kooky, crazy girl. And I think Zoe brought so much real history and real humanity to it that really made it much gave a lot more dimensions than it could have had. And I think it really brought it to life.
Yeah, I mean, there was that.
It's the last thing I'm going to say. Last nice thing.
Damn, I wasn't recording again.
There was that moment where you asked her, you know, like, oh, what are you, like a manic pixie dream girl? Which,
right.
Which I do think like it does like walk that line, right? But
right.
My last question for you is, without spoiling, because obviously there are things that happen that we don't want people to know. What did you take away from the story, or what theme resonated most with each of you?
I think for me, it's like the questioning of what is chance, what is the serendipity, or the thing that you think is random that changes your life, and sort of starting to ask the question of, what is randomness? What is chance? What cosmic forces may have been behind the scenes making this thing that I thought was a chance encounter happen? And that's a fun thought to play with.
I think one of the takeaways for me is that like everybody's going through something, and you never, have all the information about other people, no matter how close or intimate you are with them, and that we are social animals, and like there's just I think what's so hard about the pandemic, right, is that interactions with strangers and like happenstance, those all contribute to a rich, full life too. It's like meeting people, like you don't necessarily know what you need sometimes, and a person with a different rhythm or different tempo or different lease on life, like can really help you. You can't always do it by yourself. You can't always get yourself out of a hole. And I think like, there's a real focus on the individual in our culture, but collective, people need people. And I feel like that's going on a little in this movie.
I love that. Thank you both so much. You did a wonderful job. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.